And if this occurs, if this other project occurs, that those 500 spaces would basically move into that building.
Well, thank you, and I do think as we're looking at this and getting more data, I think that the stories that every member of this board and our administration heard from our faculty members, particularly new faculty members, younger faculty members who are commuting in from hours away, and for whom working here, something that they love to do is a challenge because of a lack of affordable housing anywhere in San Francisco or even the outlying areas. This to me presents the potential for us to really do something substantial about that, so I'm excited to hear the progress.
Leave restricted to 0.5 spaces per unit. So they're proposing to develop 1,100 units, and so they would only be able to build 550 spaces to serve their development. But their proposal also includes a 500 space garage underneath some of the northern buildings in their master plan. The ones up, how's this thing work?
Whatever that is.
It's
And it's
5-story
did you say it's 100 units for that 55 feet?
in that building, there would be 500 beds. So they
500
would be in
beds.
suites. They would be in 2-bedroom suites.
And they could park in that parking lot, but that parking lot would not just be for them.
Correct.
So it would also be for students.
Correct. I'm sorry. I think that, yeah, I understand you were asking that question now about
Yeah.
parking for the people who live in that building. I think the goal here, and we don't know where it's going to land, is that people who live here in this transit-rich neighborhood, especially if they're students who you're trying to provide affordable housing for, hopefully won't all be having cars. That's the hope and the goal, is to figure out how to use the transit better that's here and make the connections better and do all of it better.
Kind of review for the record where we are and where we were and where we are and how we move forward. Well, first of all, Charmaine, I want to thank you, and thank everybody. I know Joe from Avalon Bridge is here. Thank Joe, thank Kim Rich. But since the board made the decision in the fall to move forward with the planning and to bring back to the board as we are today what the not final decisions but draft plans are, you've done a lot of work. Because before we had we just had a proffer from the city to award the land to Avalon, and that's where we are. Today, where we are, if I understand in crude, kind of broad strokes, is that we have made a provisional agreement in the lower reservoir, which is Avalon's land if the deal goes through, to get to reserve 100 to 200 units for workforce, our employees, on the lower reservoir. Okay. We will move through, as Mr. Rich says in his letter, the details of how we control that, but that it is possible to do. In addition, I'm hearing that before on land that we thought we could not develop, that Avalon Bridge at their expense will construct a parking structure and housing for our students on our land.
Correct.
And that there would not be any capital or operating expense to the college for that that's up there right now.
That's right.
Okay. And that the third thing, as Mr. Rich says in his letter, that which you see that we are committed to ensuring that the Balboa Reservoir project does not impede or delay the development of City College's planned performing arts and education center, which will be located on the college's upper reservoir property. Apparently Ken decided that for us. Let's just go with Ken's idea and get this done. But what I'm saying is that the document that I have in front of me, that I just received, a few days ago, we've got a million miles to go, but that we've made some progress.
I think we've made some really good progress, and we've got some data gathering and some analysis we need to do ourselves on parking and transportation and housing need, demand, current and future. But we have we have a pretty good commitment from the city and the developers at this point that, of what they're willing to do.
Thank you so much for the presentations on B and C. I think we're ready to move into the bottom measure.
So just go through this quickly and just, we'll just leave it there. But this is another potential source of funds.
Thank you, Trustee Member.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so really quick, it's just looking at an evaluation of our highest and best use. We own $2.2 billion in real estate assets. Looking at those real estate assets and how we leverage them, here's some public-private partnerships, public-private partnerships that we could consider. We have the leaseback provisions for ground lease, very similar to what we did with golf. But what I want to point out is also the joint use redevelopment building opportunity. So that's if we take one of our assets, and not saying that this is a project, but if I refer to either downtown or Eddy Street, and we looked at a mixed-use opportunity with a developer, what we could is we can actually still have instructional space, and then we can actually create an opportunity to have revenue generated.
The update. I am a member of the Facilities Committee for many years, and it seemed strange to me that we went back to options that have evolved into other places when you see the two early options of 2016. But what was really strange to me was that your third option, this committee has never seen, and yet we are making comments on another option that you're not being offered. It's very confusing. So I do hope that all clears up, because the committee is trying to do its work so that things can be discussed in endless kind of committee meetings. And I hate to think I waste all those years, because what I saw up there today was brand new. And I went over to see what I should evaluate a couple of days ago. It was different. We just got to stop doing that, I think. What I saw, though, about the performing arts, brand new idea of moving it across. Be very cautious. It's a completion project. It's not a brand new thing. We are standing on, downstairs is the PAC basement. MUB didn't have a basement, but through various things that happened in 2008 with the geothermal well and everything that, we had to move the basement of the PAC underneath the MUB. We're in place. So it's a completion project. And that, I think, has a whole different resonance to it than, oh, let's go here, let's go there, let's go there. Downstairs, there are 2 classrooms. There's an archive library room for the arts. One of the area spaces is to serve the auditorium. The little restaurant at the end of this building is actually to serve people coffee as they go into the restaurant. These buildings were built in tandem. And the whole design of this building addresses the design of the PAC, without much space in between. Because the more you move them apart, the more you're going to have to do undercroft for the HVAC. The HVAC was acoustically. Views are lovely, but acoustically is what we're after. And the project completes the building. We are out of compliance, at least what the state chancellor used to tell me for years. We don't have a complete campus. We don't have an auditorium. We don't have the Performing Arts Center. The education students, we don't have the facilities to have music majors. In San Francisco, we can't articulate a music major program because we don't have the proper facilities. This is out of compliance with accreditation standards for our students. I have 3,000 music students. I didn't see on one of those charts any discussion about, well, where's the swing space for all the music students? And then the new PAC, which no one's telling us about, but here, is going to include 3 buildings worth of art students, thousands and thousands of art students. STEM is lovely. Actually, music is a science. That's, Juilliard still gives Bachelor of Science degrees in music. So we're in together on this, but what I saw here is not progressing well. That was one issue. Then on the lower reservoir development, I think we have to be very cautious. And again, how you get down to the reservoir. And I know having gone to virtually all the CAC meetings, because I'm a neighbor, there is still the desire for a 60-foot-ish wide roadway between this building and what should be the PAC. I don't see that much in the plans now, except it is in that last one that I just saw today for the first time. But there's space for that. But I think we'd better be upfront and talk about it. Is that what the college is negotiating to get housing in the lower reservoir? The path, the roadway, is that on the table? I don't know, I didn't hear it today, but I see it with the plan to move this across the street. Bond issue, I have the desires of voters from 2001 and 2005, I say everything. And yeah, they want the performing arts. The bond people have, the public has paid 26 million. This is according to the audit of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. The public has already paid and continue to pay more on the 26 million for the PAC that we're standing on top of, and all the other projects. We really do need to get this out there so that people will feel comfortable that the college does what it says it's going to do. This is the only project hanging out there like that. With people, I had people come up to me, where's the proof of my money? It's still coming out of their pocket, the 26 million to complete the PAC.
Projects get lost in grand plans. I used to work for the Port Authority in New York, and things can just sort of not happen. So please make this a priority.
Swiss t-shirt. And Swiss people are known for being economically adept. They like good value. And point one is there have already been millions of dollars invested in this facility here that connects to where the PAC would go. A Swiss person wouldn't like to see that thrown away. They would also question $92 million being spent on a parking facility on the east side that really has no accessibility. If you drive down Circular to the existing parking that's down there, it's almost impossible. So also in losing the parking next door at the Balboa Reservoir, we are affecting enrollment here on the college. It's a huge deal at the time that we're trying to raise the enrollment. It brings into question public land being sold to private corporations. The Balboa, the Avalon project isn't a done deal yet. And the Board of Supervisors at the Budget Committee said that the needs of the city college would be met before that proceeds. I think we need to remember it isn't a done deal yet. Is that my time for 2 minutes? No. Okay. In terms of the vista from having the PAC where Cloud Hall is, actually you go to PAC for a concert or an event. You're not caring so much about the vista.
And basically when I'm not here, I'm at work. So I'm hopping back and forth all the time. And my first question is, despite the comment as I was walking up here, who has the audacity to decide what City College does and doesn't need? How do they know that cutting back that many parking spots to us in the lower reservoir is not going to affect us, and that the solution is simple, that we can just take more public transit and bike ride and walk to school every day, and let alone to and from work? That's not possible or realistic. And I would just like to leave a few questions. First of all, we already pay enough as is for $40 a semester for our parking permits. My question is, if these housing plans were to go through, how much would our parking permits still apply in those spots? And second, how much would they be?
Address the spirit of the difference in these different proposals. For one thing, it's up to you to keep your word to the voters who voted in 2001 and 2005. Somebody passed me I think is the picture of the beautiful plan. Anyway, what was presented to the voters and what was approved, no, I meant the pictures of the Performing Arts Education Center. Gotta bring them up. Was a beautiful, beautiful plan of a big, beautiful auditorium with 2 adjoining auditoriums that would open up to it. And this plan has a lobby that would be the home for the Diego Rivera mural. If this plan is not built immediately, if this Performing Arts Education Center is not built immediately, then after the 2 years where the Diego Rivera mural is on loan to the Museum of Modern Art, if there's not a home for it to return to, we are in serious risk of losing that mural forever.